sure to check out my next fuck. Hey, what's up you guys? It's oardenbull here, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I finally re-recorded my review of Alchemist. So basically I'm going to look at season 1, episodes 1 to 10, and just kind of give you my thoughts on the plot, characterization, I'm going to do some of my favorite parts, and fun facts that I love about the show, some of the predictions that I have. Know that I recorded this before and I was supposed to release it, and then YouTube freaked it out and it didn't upload and it lost it instantly. But don't worry, that will happen again because they finally got a new laptop, and so I'm able to kind of transfer my videos to my phone right away, and it doesn't have to be easier. Anyway, let's get right to it. First thing we're going to talk about, characterization. So, some of the Alchemist so far has I really like their relationship dynamic. It's like classic. It's like, bigger guy, physically bigger guy has, is really sweet and innocent, cute little heart. And then the smaller, physically smaller guy has a huge personality that you would think would match with a physically stronger guy. And I really like it. It's really cute. Another thing I like about the characterization is the way the writers are able to portray that they're still children. That's a weird sentence, but I like that, we're able to see that they're still just kids. It's easy to forget that, given what they're doing with their lives. They're traveling the world by themselves, They're orphans, but it's still, amazing what they're doing. And we see that through, even just Alf's voice, which I think is kind of annoying sometimes, but even just Alf's voice, every time someone calls Edward a pipsqueak, he freaks out, has a temper tantrum. The episode, I'll talk about this later, where Edward is in the butcher's shop and he's, think he's going to get killed. I think that's episode 9, episode 8, I think, actually. And so, he cries and he's really sad and, he's really afraid for his life. And it's kind of like the first time we see him being vulnerable like that. And I really like that episode. But the characterization is great for this story. I love it. Moving on to the plot. I like the plot. I think in stories, it's really important to use characters to move the story along. And I think a lot of shows that I watch even don't do that. The characters move the story along, and in this show, every encounter they have with someone new at this new, because they're on this big journey to find, I can't remember what it was called, but find this thing that's going to help them bring back their mom, right? And they don't know where it is, so they're on this journey, they're meeting people, and they ask them, what they think and where they can find it, and so those relationships help the story go along because they meet someone, they hear what they think about where the thing that they're looking for is, and then they go to the next place and meet someone new, and it just keeps going, and it's a really good way to move along the plot. The events in the story are interesting. I don't think it drags too much, which is really important. So yeah, I really like the plot. So moving on to some of my favorite parts, some of the most funny parts. So I'm looking at a piece of paper, by the way, I wrote it down. So episode 4, I wrote Tree Woman. So that was the episode in which there's this guy who lost his wife and, creepy noises, lost his wife and is killing people in the town and using their souls to put into dummies of her, and so people are like, oh, he's brought his wife back to life and she's haunting everyone or whatever. Oh wait, I don't think they think that he brought her back to life. I think they just think that she's alive and haunting people. Okay, so it turns out he's killing people and putting their souls into her body. So there's this one part where they finally caught her and everyone's around, they're like, there she is, and there's, okay, so the tree's right here, right, and she's me. And she's like she does this creepy move behind the tree. It's and it didn't really occur to me that's not how humans move. And so I was just really like, what the fuck? It was crazy. I like died laughing. You had to be there. No, but it was great. Another part that I really liked and thought was just like interesting and crazy is episode 7 with the dad, the creepy dad who like ends up killing his daughter so that he can use her soul to put into like this thing, this animal that looks like a lion that's supposed to like prove his alchemy skills. Like, it was great. That was such a plot twist, and I was just like, oh fuck, what a crazy dad, right? I really liked that episode. And then the next episode is the one I was talking about earlier with Winry. I think that's how to pronounce her name. Elf and Edward's friend back home. She comes to visit them, and when she came into the episode, like, it didn't occur to me that currently there was a butcher like killing attractive young girls. Like, it didn't occur to me, and so when she showed up, I'm like, oh, why is she here? Why is she in this episode? And then I realized, like, at the last minute, when, like, the lady puts her into the van or something, I can't remember what happened, but eventually we go to the butcher shop, and she's, like, tied up and shit, and I was like, it was crazy, and I really liked that part. There was a lot of conflict, and again, that was the episode that we finally get to see, like, Edward be so vulnerable, you know, as a kid. Like, he's just a kid. Alright, so moving on to some of my predictions, some things that I think will happen. I'm probably wrong, but you know, you never know. So in episode 5, that was when, I believe this is right, that was when the general, the guy who is friends with their father and like sent a letter to their father saying, you know, if your kids are this amazing, I'd rather see them than you. Yikes. That guy, he manipulates them to get onto the different train, and so on the train, he organizes this whole, like, thing where, like, you know, they almost get killed, and so that was kind of a way for him to see their skills, see what they would do under conflict like that, and I thought that was really wrong. I mean, I guess maybe it was necessary, but I just saw it like, wow, if he's willing to do something like that, like, he doesn't really care about their lives. Like, he just, what if they didn't do well, you know? So he just wants to use them. And actually there's another guy in a later episode that talks about how the state, the country, will pretty much use them as lapdogs, and I think that obviously that will come true, right? It's always someone that like is like this creepy, ominous person that, you know, just shows up and turns out to be right about a lot of things. So and then in episode 9, that was when Edward, that was the whole thing with like that poor town, you know, and so Edward used gold and created more gold, which is like one of the ultimate rules, like, you're not supposed to do that, and I think basically like that's gonna come back to haunt him. They're gonna find out, and I think like maybe, and I sort of think this about the general manipulating them as well, I think like he's gonna continue to break rules like that, but they're gonna like become more illegal as like time goes on. Like, he's just gonna push it, and eventually like the word's gonna get out and he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. I think the general will end up, you know, pushing them as well and testing them even more, and then crossing the line. So it's just a matter of which comes first. I don't know if I'm right about these things, but that's just kind of what I think about it, and it'd be interesting if it did turn out that way. So yes, that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll probably do another one of these for this anime in episode 20. I'm about like episode 15 or something like that. But do you like my beanie? It's fun. It's winter. But I'm inside, but I'm wearing it, whatever. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, sorry that I didn't upload this week for Tuesday. I've been doing a lot of shit, and so you'll see all cool stuff that I've been doing though in a vlog this Saturday, so look out for that. But I will have a next Fullmetal Alchemist video for you, and I won't lose it. I won't frick up, like, YouTube won't ruin it. Like, that's all for this video. Obi out. See ya. As always, make sure you check out my last video, and make sure to look out for my next video. Make sure to check out my next, fuck.